Hello everyone. Tonight we uncover the shocking case of Colonel Russell Williams, a decorated military officer and pilot for Queen Elizabeth II, whose double life as a sadistic predator shook Canada to its core. What turned a respected leader into a ruthless killer? Let's dive into the chilling truth. Ontario, Canada, a desperate woman's voice breaks the silence of the night. "Please, Colonel, why are you doing this?" She pleads with her superior officer, but it is no use. That night she would lose her life in the most horrific way imaginable. The next day, her killer attended her funeral, dressed in full military uniform, his medals gleaming. He stood before her grieving family, shedding fake tears of sorrow. That man was Colonel Russell Williams, a trusted leader, a pilot for the Queen, and a cold-blooded predator. But how did this highly decorated officer become one of Canada's most terrifying criminals? Let's go back to the beginning. Russell Williams was not just any soldier. He was the commander of Canada's 8th Wing at Trenton Air Force Base, one of the country's most important military facilities. Every morning he arrived at work in full uniform, his medals glistening. To his fellow officers, he was a role model. To his superiors, he was an elite pilot, trusted to fly Queen Elizabeth II's aircraft. To the public, he was a respected leader, a proud patriot. But behind closed doors, he harbored a dark and twisted secret. In the early 2000s, Williams' sick obsession began. At first, it seemed minor, just an invasion of privacy. He broke into homes when no one was there, stealing women's lingerie. But soon that wasn't enough. He started wearing the stolen underwear, photographing himself, and keeping meticulous records like a pilot logging flight data. His crimes escalated. Over time, he broke into more homes, stealing dozens of pieces of lingerie, including those belonging to teenage girls. No one knew he was careful, precise. His military training made him a perfect predator. But in November 2009, everything changed. He left a trace for the first time. On a victim's computer screen, he typed just one word: merci, a mockery of his crime, a sign of his growing confidence. He had become bolder, and that meant one thing: his crimes were about to get worse. January 2010, a 20-year-old single mother in Tweed, Ontario, was asleep in her home. Unbeknownst to her, Russell Williams was already inside, hiding in the shadows. As soon as she turned off the light, he pounced. Wearing a dark ski mask, he tied her up and whispered, "If you scream, your baby dies." The woman begged for her child's life, but Russell didn't care. He assaulted her for hours, capturing every moment on camera. The next morning, while his victim lay trembling in fear, Colonel Williams attended a charity event for crime prevention, smiling, shaking hands, and laughing with officials. No one suspected a thing. His uniform was still spotless, his medal still shined, but his mask of honor was beginning to crack. Marie-France Comeau was a 38-year-old sergeant in the Royal Canadian Air Force. She had flown missions with Williams himself. She trusted him. She worked for him. But she was also his next target. One night, as she prepared for bed, Williams was already inside her house, waiting in the basement. When she came downstairs, she barely had time to scream. Williams struck her on the head with a flashlight, knocking her unconscious. Then, for hours, he tortured her, recording everything, just like before. But this time, his victim recognized him. But he did not stop. Her last moments were captured on his camera. And just days later, William stood at her funeral, mourning her death. No one suspected the man comforting her family was her killer. But Williams had grown too confident. In February 2010, he targeted his next victim, 27-year-old Jessica Lloyd. When Jessica failed to show up for work, police launched an intensive search. They found footprints and tire tracks at the crime scene. And then they found a match. A car parked along the highway. The driver, Colonel Russell Williams. Police brought him in for questioning. At first he acted calm, chewing gum, smiling. But as detectives revealed the evidence, his demeanor changed. Within hours, his mask shattered. He confessed, revealing a meticulously kept crime log, hundreds of stolen undergarments, and thousands of self-taken photos in women's lingerie. His final recorded entry: Jessica Lloyd eliminated. In October 2010, Russell Williams was sentenced to life in prison with no chance of parole for 25 years. His military uniform and medals were burned, an unprecedented punishment in Canadian history. His car was destroyed. His stolen trophies were incinerated. And yet, due to legal loopholes, Williams still receives his military pension. For victims' families, the nightmare never truly ended. And in 2035, at age 72, Russell Williams will be eligible for parole. Will he walk free? Only time will tell. But one thing is certain: even the most honored uniforms can hide the darkest monsters. If you found this case disturbing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more shocking true crime stories. Until next time, stay safe.